Good morning. Hello. Welcome, everybody. I think I'm in a good mood on a Friday. Then that music comes on. I'm like, now I'm in a good mood, ready for the day, ready for the weekend. We're nearly there. Hello, Buzz. That's back to what we were talking about. I'm Amelia Hamilton. I'm your host of Buzz. I'm only one of the hosts of Buzz because I'm joined by my brilliant co-host, Tom Parkinson. Welcome, Tom. How are you doing?
Hi. Yeah, I'm good. I'm really well, thank you. Do you know what? You were saying about the Bristol meetup yesterday, so I was just thinking there might be potentially a few people watching that might have a slightly sore head, and that could go one of two ways, right? You could have now been ready to go again, or it's just sent you into a mood of like, I'm not sure.
They've switched us off already. Yeah, they've gone. They're out the door.
They're going for the coffee.
Yeah. Yes, I'm in Bristol. I should explain that. It's not my usual background. I'm in a hotel room in Bristol after our lovely meetup yesterday. We played some darts. I actually did very well. I'm pretty proud of myself. I think the newsletter that's coming this Monday, the picture will probably be me with my achievements in darts as the picture. So everybody can look forward to that. But how are you? How's your week? Your couple of weeks? Haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, I know it's weird doing this every 2 weeks because it flies round, but it's like it feels like loads has happened. So the garden room's done. I can stop talking about that now. Like it's completely sorted. I'm not in it. This isn't it. I'm in an office. So yeah, the next background I'm hoping to be sat in it. You guys can rate my background. I need like a terrarium to go in it. I don't know if you've ever seen these like simple things that like. But I want a really nice one. So if anyone's got any good suggestions, send them my way. Like I want a nice terrarium to go in the garden office, or like the moss balls on a wall. I'm not sure yet. So any suggestions?
You need to water a terrarium, or is that the beauty of a terrarium? You just leave it.
The beauty, well, some you do, some you don't. Some like you don't even need to do any pruning or anything. Some are like hermetically sealed. Is that the right word? Where basically there's no air inside of it. Like it's just its own ecosystem. It condensation and then it falls and then it condensates and then it falls. So it's like its own ecosystem. Yeah, I've got a few nice ones that I'd like to. I'll share with you at some point. So yeah, that's aside. How about you? Tell me about you.
Very cool. We're learning this morning. Everybody, you're welcome. Look at that knowledge we're imparting. How am I? I'm all right. Yeah. What's been going on? Well, I wasn't well for a couple of weeks, but now I'm getting there again. So that's nice. The days are getting very dark for my liking. What's up with this like 3-4 o'clock getting dark?
No. Really? I love summer, but I actually really like winter. I bought some chestnuts and like I'm burning my thumbs and I love it. Like it's a great time of year. I don't know. Are you a fan of chestnuts now?
I don't think I've ever really sat down and roasted chestnuts. Maybe that's something I should be. That's what I'm missing out.
The song goes, and we're not going to sing it because of the year. So yeah, roasted chestnuts on an open fire. On that note, before I say anything else that I shouldn't say, should we go to the Insight Scoop and do the news?
What a beautiful segue. Let's go straight to the Insight Scoop. What a tune. Cool. So I'll start with a news story this week for you. That first one is that a Dutch court has overturned a landmark ruling that ordered Shell to cut its greenhouse gas emissions dramatically. But the judgment may still leave heavily polluting companies open to more climate-related challenges, legal experts have said. What are your thoughts on this story, Tom?
No, nothing massively surprising here. You know, we all know what they're doing is bad, right? At the end of it, but then at the same time, they are one of the biggest drivers of green energy. So it's kind of like one of these, it's on a knife edge, isn't it? They've got probably the biggest amount of green energy along with all these BP and all these other companies as well. So yeah, I'm not surprised. I think ultimately there should be fines based on CO2 or emissions. I think that's fair. We're taxed on it based on company cars, right? So why shouldn't companies be taxed in that way or penalized or have some tariffs imposed on them? You know, they're making millions and billions of pounds of profit. So, you know, my level of sympathy is quite low on this one. I don't know. Have you got a converse opinion on that one?
No, I just don't understand how we're not moving quicker into making sure that we're developing greener energy sources and that we're less reliant on all of these fossil fuel. It seems frustrating to me that it feels like it's just a lot of prioritizing profits over anything else. But
I agree. But on that one, there is something, sorry, total semi-segue on this one, but I did see a pie chart of the UK's energy manufacturing as a comparison to that generally of the EU and the United States. And we are actually a long way ahead of the average as far as the nation goes. So, because we use far more wind, we've got a little bit of solar. Obviously, we're not the biggest of solar, clearly, especially as the guest today will say, there's not much sun in the Highlands of Scotland up that way. But yeah, we are miles ahead of the average. That's not that's not a place to stop, but we are ahead of the average. So, potentially there needs to be more happening in other countries as well. So, yes.
I don't think it's going to get necessarily better because of the next story I'm trying to go on, give me the next
nice
story,
one.
Tom.
So that links on nicely. Wall Street bonuses are projected to increase by up to a third, with bankers, that was bankers with a B, anticipating even larger payouts following Donald Trump's presidential election victory. I think that might be close to the time of me being cancelled on the show now, so I'm going to...
Yes, all I'm saying is, look, I was off work for a week or something, and Donald Trump got elected. Look, guys, you dropped the ball on me. I was gone for a week, and you let Donald Trump be elected. What? It wouldn't have happened on my watch. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if you've seen his recent nominations for these cabinet positions. It's insane. I mean, these bonuses are going up. Elon Musk is going to be the director of efficiency in government when he bought Twitter and tanked it, but went down by 80% its value or something like that. Oh my God, it's insane. Of course, bankers' bonuses are going to rise.
I saw this morning on this one that Donald Trump is asking for his president election win to basically be backdated to the 5th of November, because obviously the market, since he's won the election, have gone up. So he wants his start date to be when that started happening, because obviously everyone has a bit of confidence in him. I don't know why, but there is confidence in him from a market perspective. So just quite ironic, really. Shall we move away from Donald Trump, and before I say anything more inappropriate?
Yeah. I'll read the next one. And so this really interested me, this story, actually. So obviously we're more than 5 years after the start of the pandemic, and still 4 in 10 of all workers in Britain are working from home at least part of the week. What do you think about that?
Well, I've just built a garden office, so it wasn't intentional that segued back in. I said I was going to stop talking about it. Yeah, me and my wife both work at home probably at least 2-3 times a week between each. So if you average that out, we have a whole week at home between one of us. So yeah, I'm not surprised in that one. I think the flexibility that it offers and the lack of commute for some people as well. I'm not surprised at all. I thought
it would actually be higher.
I thought it'd be higher, but I'm not surprised that people are going back to the offices. Employers are now encouraging that to happen, and I think office habits have changed. The way that offices are designed now are more comfortable. They're less formal than they were pre-pandemic. What's your thoughts, Mia? We're a next gen on it, really, as well.
You're a what? Sorry.
We're our next gen on
but we're all over the place, so I don't think we can ever have an office, because obviously we've got someone like El Thomas in Edinburgh, then I'm down in Fleet, then Rohan's in Darlington, Dan's in Newcastle. I don't know. We get together when we can, but I guess a company like Next Gen can only exist because of remote working, and you can be all over the place, and it's good. I really did expect it to be higher than that, but I guess I don't know if that takes into account key workers, the people who can't physically work from home.
If you took the people like teachers and doctors and nurses and dentists out of the equation, I think that figure would be closer to 7 in 10 personally that work at least part-time each week from home. That would be my thought. But, yes, I think that this is a great segue on to behind the advice. I always
wait. Before we do, I just want to highlight something that we've got going on in the community first, and then we'll throw it over.
Oh, sorry.
So before we throw it over, it's just a nice opportunity. Just mention something that's coming up in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And the thing that I want to mention today, because we don't have a show next week. So this is for a week Wednesday. We've got a really, really cool masterclass in the community from Melissa Kidd called The 7 Rules of Readability. And it's all about making sure the stuff that you produce is easily accessible, digestible to clients so that they can engage with the advice that you're giving them in the best possible way. So that's a week Wednesday at 12:30. It's an hour-long masterclass. So yeah, check that out. That's my recommendation for the next 2 weeks. Now go on, Tom, throw it over to a segue.
I can't. How do you segue from that? It's time to go to the delightful Behind the Advice. There wasn't really a segue. We're going to Behind the Advice with Nicola Ellis.
Perfect. Hi, Nikki. Welcome to the buzz. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great, thank you. I was raving there just before we came on. What a way to start a Friday. I love it.
I mean, it doesn't rival any of your DJ skills that I've been blessed to have seen in my time. There's no Nikki Ellis. I forget your DJ name. DJ.
I'm the wrong DJ.
Wrong DJ. That's it. It does not rival any of the tracks from the wrong DJ, but it does a good job. I think it gets us going on a Friday.
Exactly. I'll need to try a remix of it one of these days.
When's your next? Are you doing any more DJ functions that we can?
I'll be featuring in January at the Fundment gig at the Langham again. So if anybody's coming along to that, I'll see you there.
Brilliant. Well, there you go. Little plug for the wrong DJ. You've got to check. If you haven't seen Nikki DJ, you're missing out big time. But she doesn't just DJ. She's got a whole other. I mean, the DJ is the main job, right? And the financial. It's just a little side hustle you've got going on, isn't it, Wellington Wealth?
That's it. That's it.
Exactly. But I mean, we were talking about it before. That it's mid-November now. We've kind of had most of the year, which feels quite scary to acknowledge and start to think about. But that's what I wanted to kind of chat to you about today, looking back at this year and perhaps starting to think about how we're setting ourselves up for next year as a profession. For this year, is there a skill that you've developed or some information or knowledge that you've learned that's made a difference to your work this year?
Yeah, well, do you know, I was going to mention DJing, but we've already kind of covered that. But there's a lot of similarities actually in DJing that I didn't realise that a financial planner has. Also a lot of frustrations in that the software doesn't speak to each other in the DJ world, just like we have here in financial planning. But in terms of skills, I suppose it's not necessarily a recent skill or knowledge, but I think one of the best things I did in recent years has certainly been the CISI Certified Financial Planner qualification. And I think a few reasons for that. I mean, we're a small business here in Glasgow, and I think sometimes you just want that, you want to make sure you're on the right track and you're doing the right thing. So that was one of the reasons I decided to do the qualification in the first place. And I love a case study as well. And it's a case study of all case studies. So that and managing to pass first time, I was absolutely delighted about. But it certainly just really leveled up my planning. And I think it gave me or the business, confidence or confirmation that we're on the right track, we're doing the right thing and up to a certain professional standard. And I think two key areas I took from it was that I perhaps didn't give enough care or enough attention to state benefits, for example, which is now very something that I certainly do or we do review and where appropriate. But the other probably more important part is that we have assumptions that we do at firm level. So every year we set up the firm, the assumptions, we review them, document them, and that's what we use across the board. So everyone knows, exactly what that is. So any client has the same experience from anyone at Wellington Wealth. And I think, so that for me, that qualification really just was a really good thing to do. The whole experience of it really helped level up my advice, I think.
Yeah, that sounds great. And congrats on passing straight away. I mean, I expect nothing less from you. You're a marvel. But yeah, amazing work. That's a great answer. And so looking at the year then, did you have goals at the beginning? Was that something that you had in mind at the beginning of the year that you wanted to achieve? Was that something that you kind of that became more of a focus, or what kind of targets did you have in your head at the beginning of the year compared to now? How has that all evolved?
Yeah, so I suppose this year our focus was it was the sort of year on from consumer duty, and just how do we measure that? How do we ensure what we've implemented and documented is right, and just what's the client's feedback? So this year we had a client survey that we put out, and actually, you know, a lot of the feedback was just really positive, which is wonderful, because we do work really hard to you know, review everything we do. We always take lessons learned from every aspect of the business, and also learn from other wider, not just necessarily our profession, but other businesses. How are people communicating, and how can we communicate better? So it was really positive feedback that we had from that, which was one of our goals this year. But I think just, you know, change is constant in what we do. And we can start the year and we can have certain goals, but inevitably we'll have to deviate, you know, change direction, pivot, you know, and the three key things, it's regulation. So again, the consumer duty, you know, that we've had, and before that we'd the prod rules, which we actually renamed the productive rules, because I think you have to embrace these regulatory changes. It ain't, you know, you can moan about it, but what good's that going to do? So we renamed it the productive rules, because it was actually really, it's a really interesting exercise for our business. So you've got, you know, regulation that's constantly evolving. You've got legislation. So we all know what happened a few weeks ago, and a lot of us following the budget have had to go back to the drawing board and some of our clients' financial planning. And there's still some changes and refinements that we'll see once the consultation's finished. But that, again, is just moving goalposts. And I suppose the third area is innovation. So the big hot topic is AI, and just how we can incorporate that into our businesses. And it just feels it's a really exciting time, you know, that how we can use it to sort of better serve our clients and be more efficient, potentially help plugging the advice gap as well. So I think no matter what goals you have, it's like the old Charles Darwin quote that, you know, it's not the strongest of species that survive, nor the most intelligent. It's those most adaptable to change. And actually, we just have to embrace it as we go, because it's here to stay. It's guaranteed.
Yeah, definitely. What a great answer. I was talking to an advisor the other day, and they said that their saying for the year was, if you can't get out, lean in. That's they were saying, if it's something you can't change, and you know it's just there to say, then you've got to lean into it and find a way to make it work for you and for your clients. And so yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense to just try and embrace everything that's out there. And I mean, AI is going to continue to be huge, and lots of different things there. You mentioned really interesting stuff. Great answer. A final question this morning. Were there any unexpected challenges? I mean, you mentioned obviously the budget that came up probably wasn't something that was, I guess to an extent might have been expected at the beginning of the year, but you know, it wasn't a guarantee. Didn't know what was going to happen. Is there anything that kind of popped up in the year that ended up being something that you could learn from? And there's a question.
I mean, I think we learn from everything, you know, and I can't think of one particular thing this year. I mean, whatever we do, we say we're revolving. So we constantly, everything in, whether it's in the business, whether it's our process, it's all about reviewing and then evolving, so revolving. And we're trying to get to that utopia of where we want to be, but that utopia, the goalposts of that utopia keep changing, and actually we keep changing as a business, or our goals keep changing. So you're never actually going to get there. So it's that realization that, do you know what, as I say, changes here, and it's okay not to get to that utopia. But as long as you're, as I say, reviewing on an ongoing basis, it's digesting the information, it's creating a new plan or a new strategy, implementing it, and then just starting from the beginning again, because hindsight's a wonderful thing, but actually you've got to make decisions just at the time you've got the information. So even the budget was a big thing, but actually until we knew the facts, we couldn't really do too much. Now we know the facts, it's still not completely concrete, there's still potential for change, but we just need to get back to the basics. The fundamentals of financial planning never changes, and clients' fundamental objectives rarely change, even with a blow perhaps that came in the budget. We've just got to revisit with a new set of rules. So yeah, I think revolving is the way to be, and rolling with it is the way to be, as Oasis say.
Very good. What a way to end things. I could talk to you all day, you know that, but we are out of time. So thank you so much, Nikki, for joining us. Thank you for watching. Thanks, Tom, for being a wonderful co-host. You got any final words before we sign off?
I could have just listened to that for ages. So I think we're going to have to get Nikki to come back and do more, to be honest.
I think in a new year one, maybe we can see what she's doing to set up the year. Yeah, I could have listened to that for a while too.
Beautiful. Have a lovely weekend. Thanks to both of you, and we shall see you again in 2 weeks' time.
Yes, have a good weekend. Bye.
Thank you.